That's why B-roll is great. So I'm here with John Valley in cast, and my first question, actually, John's for you. American Dollhouse takes the familiar strange neighbor concept and pushes it into full psychological horror while still keeping a dark comedic edge. What was the original image or idea that sparked the story, and how did you balance the humor with the escalating violence?
The original image was a neighbor everywhere. I had a wonderful neighbor years ago that was very nosy, and when we would walk by our bay windows, we'd have to almost make sure she's not going to see us in there, because then she'd wave and want to talk. So that was kind of the initial image, and the idea of that conflict or those types of characters seemed so appetizing for filmmaking, because I love minimalist filmmaking, kind of trying to be slow with movies, and so that relationship seemed so cool to tackle, almost like a play. What was the other part of the question?
The other part of the question is just how did you balance that humor and violence all together in the film?
Well, the humor part was sort of
unintentional. This is not supposed to be funny.
My first movie was a kind of a comedy, and so with this, I wanted to be really cold and sort of sterile and minimalist. But I think just the collective humor with all of us, we've all known each other for years, and I like to laugh. I like to have fun. And it just kind of came out,
End of interview right there.
And once that's happening on set, it's like, don't deny it, because really, I'll say this 1,000 times, the philosophy was actor first and performance first. And so when I saw the comedy sort of brewing and people having fun, I didn't want to get in the way of that.
Awesome.
Because it just felt very natural and human.
Awesome. Haley, next question is for you. So your character is kind of the fresh start character, inheriting childhood home, things like that. She slowly realizes she stepped into something much darker, though. How did you approach portraying someone who's already emotionally vulnerable before the horror even begins?
So after I read the script, I was like, I like to do like a lot of homework and approach things from a technical standpoint. And it's clear to me that that Sarah could be diagnosed. And so I started thinking about what could be the root of her problems, and it became clear to me that CPTSD would probably be what she has. And so I went to John and I was like, hey, is it cool if I diagnose her with this? And he was like, absolutely. So then I kind of dove head first into CPTSD. What does it look like? What are the symptoms? How does it manifest? What can the triggers be? And I started to layer those things into the script.
What type of beer they drink?
Well, yeah.
Beer was very prevalent in the film.
I feel like when you're managing massive trauma and it's not, you haven't been in therapy and you haven't been diagnosed, you're kind of self-medicating to get through and around those triggers and symptoms. So she's definitely avoidant and angry on top, but underneath she's, she just wants to be loved and understood like everybody else. And so I had a lot of fun kind of doing all the homework, layering it into the script, and then on the day just letting whatever comes out of me come out.
Awesome. Great answer. Kelsey, your character quickly becomes one of the most memorable presences in the film, shifting between unsettling, funny, and outright terrifying. What was your process for building a character whose obsession feels both disturbing and strangely compelling?
Ooh, that's a really good question.
You're welcome.
To me, Sandy is the physical manifestation of Sarah's trauma. Her trauma started at a young age, so it's embodying that age of where the trauma started and permanently being there and haunting her with that. And I think most of it came from the physicality, so I really had to figure out what her mannerisms were before I even really delved into it.
For sure.
I did a lot of work walking around my house.
I'm glad you didn't do it outside of your house, because you might not be here with us today.
Yes, be in law
It,
enforcement.
yes, yeah.
But I was just like, well, how do 8-year-olds act? And they're uncomfortably a little bit over animated. Because as adults, we like to kind of contain ourselves in our reactions because that's more socially acceptable. But 8-year-olds are excitable and they're just like a little bit more elevated. And so, oh my gosh. And so that's kind of where that came from. And then something really clicked when I kind of did a little rehearsal session with John because I was like, I'm almost there, but I don't completely have her.
Yeah.
And so we sat down in my living room for like an hour and he just said, it's your eyes. Your eyes are so big and expressive. If we just focus on all of that, and as soon as he said that, it clicked and I was like, that's it. And then as far as maintaining it throughout the shoot, I straight up told him and our DP Taylor, I never want to see playback. Because
That's a good idea.
Being an actor, you're just taught to be so grounded and realistic, and I just knew that if I watched whatever the fuck I was doing, I would just start to overthink it.
For sure.
And try and overcorrect, and so I think that was also a huge part of it, is just like, I'm just feeling like an 8-year-old and embodying this, and I just have to trust.
Yeah, I told my mom about your character.
Oh,
I'm like, you remember Elmira from the Tiny Toon? She grew up, and this is her right here in front of us.
That's the thing. I'm today with my bow.
So great. So great. Tynus, the voice of reason. Tu hermano. One of the strengths of American Dollhouse is the way the supporting characters help ground the story before things spiral into madness. What drew you to your role, and how did you approach building that dynamic, especially with Haley and the interactions that you guys had on set?
Yeah, I've known Haley for a really long time, and I mean, we met in 2015. Yeah, and we've just been friends for so long, and just like super open. So there was that, and I have an element of siblings that I am angry at because they make horrible decisions all the time. And so it was I think just that twist, and I think being the younger brother, because I'm the baby too.
Right.
Like being angry at your older sibling for like fucking up and not like forming into society the right way, and it's like everything's like a lie, like dealt with that, and there is that kind of child, like you just want to call them a child and just like, grow up. Like, I know you're angry at this, but just get over it. It's but it's all out of fear. You're like scared for their health,
Exactly.
well-being, or things to work out. So it just kind of came naturally, and
Awesome.
Danielle,
American Dollhouse uses the idea of suburban family turning sinister. What stood out to you about your character's place in the world when you first read the script?
I think it's a really good question. I think with Avery, she is this other like voice of reason, and this not so much as where a brother could come in and kind of just be like the hard-hitting person of like, grow up, like get your shit together, but have a little bit of a softer landing. And I think that there was some really beautiful moments in the script that allowed Avery to kind of come in and have some like funny moments, and also have some moments of just like, hey girl, you good?
What we doing here? Yeah.
Because like,
I wouldn't even have came over if I was you, to be honest.
It doesn't seem like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that there's this element of friendship that is so prevalent in horror, and it gets found a lot in female friendships, and how powerful that can be on screen, and how that can really ground the movie in what really makes it really feels like they are real people, and it makes it feel like whatever Sarah's going through it happened, and it was real for her, and it matters, and it's creating all of this trauma that's happening right now. So yeah, I think that like the way that John wrote the script and the way that he weaved those moments in really just gave a lot of like opportunity for the Avery character to do that.
Awesome. Thank you. And Richard, Mr. Delivery Man. So, what interested you most about the role for your character and how it fits into the film's escalating nightmare?
I mean, for me, I think Rick. I think he's the character. I feel like
You're a lot cleaner in real life than that guy, too, man. I just want to say, like, a lot cleaner, a lot more distinguished looking. That guy had like sleazeball written all over him. So
this is the acting job. So yeah, I mean, I think for me, he has the clues to put together who this character is, who that neighbor is, and he's missing it. And I think for me personally, I feel like I know people. That's kind of where I resonated with him or created with him, and I think just trying to have an empathy for humanity. I think there's a lot of people in the world right now that I feel like we have the clues and people are missing it. And for me, that's where he jumps into the story.
Awesome. So, John, world premiere. What was it like watching the audience react in real time, especially during the moments where the film shifts from quirky suburbia into full chaos?
It's kind of the best part for me. I love watching my stuff with audiences. That's kind of, in many ways what I'm going for. I want to make movies for audiences and for people. It's a lot about self-expression as well, but at the end of the day, it's like I want it to radiate out, and I want people to find little details here and there. So it's a ton of fun for me to sit back and watch. I always go in the back row and just kind of scan everybody. And the genre is so like mechanically strong that if you fine tune it enough, it does kind of become like music, and you can kind of anticipate where these reactions are gonna happen, and the variety and the different kinds of reactions. It's fun to see from screening to screening.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And Haley, for you as an actress, how did you find the emotional through line for your character while navigating such a wild tonal range in the film?
I feel like the first, before I got to Sandy's house, I kind of approached it like this is really happening. Sandy's a real person. This is my real trauma. I'm like really trying to get my life together, and like this girl is just
There's really a hole in the
fucking
roof.
up for me, and my friends are gone, and no one's listening to me. And
For sure.
not being listened to was like part of one of her main like trigger points with Michael, and so that all escalated pretty organically for me. And then once I got into the House of Horrors and I was in that closet for the first time, I didn't know this was going to happen, but it clicked in my head that the house was actually my mind, and that Sandy was a representative of my trauma. And in order for me to get out of the house, I had to fight and forgive, and come to terms with all of my issues, or Sarah's issues. And so I ended up approaching the latter part of the film really differently. And like even when Sandy and I have our final moment, like I wasn't expecting to be sad about it, but I was. Like I was sad for her and for me, because releasing your trauma, sometimes you get attached to it. And so there was a lot of unexpected emotions, but I love that roller coaster, and I feel like as long as I'm grounded in my like, I know what I need to feel when, and then like all that play can happen, and also feeling safe in John's hands, and like knowing that he's not going to let me go too far, or he's going to help me maintain the right level of intensity for each scene, so I could focus on what I needed to in the moment.
Great. That's so fantastic. Really great answer there. Kelsey, last one for you. When you read the script, did you immediately recognize how much freedom the role gave you to play in that space between horror and dark comedy, or were you still kind of fighting with a few things?
Not at all. I was terrified when I read the script, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
Because he seemed so sure that I was right for the role, and I was like, there's no fucking way. And I didn't immediately see the comedy in it.
Okay.
If I'm being 1,000% honest.
Which is so strange because I did the minute you showed up in the
and
film.
seeing it-
I spit my coffee out when you showed up. Like, seriously.
Yeah, seeing it, you're like, of course it's funny. And I feel like I'm a huge horror genre fan,
Mhm.
and there are always needing to be moments where you're letting off the gas a little bit. You need a little comedic relief to give the audience a break from the,
Yeah, attention. Yep.
But it's just, she's such an absurd character that of course it's so funny. But yeah, I think my biggest concern in the beginning when reading the script was just like, I don't know if I can pull this off the way that the film deserves it to be pulled off. But, once we explored the character and the physicality, I was a lot more comfortable. And Haley made a really great point that John is such a great director, and like, I'm only able to not watch playback because I trust him so much.
Mhm.
He's an actor. He's a fantastic actor himself.
And a great server from what we found out as well.
Yes.
Very good.
But yeah, he's just such a huge component in all of this and why it works so well of being able to balance the comedic timing versus the drama and horror of it all.
Awesome, awesome. Well, folks, I would love to talk to you more about this film, but that is my time. So I really, really appreciate all your candid answers. They were all fantastic. Best of luck with the rest of the screenings and everything else going on with American Dollhouse and what you all are individually doing. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.